Akkam jirtu nagaa keessanii miseensonni wabii tiivii hundumti keessan iddoo jirtanitti nageenyi waaqayyo isiniif haa ta'u. Har'a kutaa lammaffaa qormaata intiraansii bara 2017tti barattoonni kutaa 12ffaa qoraman gaaffii 30 viidiyoo kana keessatti qabadhee isiniif dhiyaadheera. Kanaaf isinis wabii tiivii wajjin ta'uudhaan akka qayyabattanii fi barattoonni barana qoramtan ammoo deebii keessan gamanumaan akka dhugoomfattan irra deebiidhaan yeroon isin affeeru gammachuudhaan. Barattoonni bara 2018tti qormaata intiraansii fudhattan imala keessan wabii tiivii wajjin yoo taasistan baay'ee bu'aa kan irraa buufattan ta'uu isin hubachiisuun barbaada. Buukileet koodiin qormaata kanaa 449 mee gaaffilee itti aananii dhufan 20 qabee hanga 50tti jiran waliin haa hojjennu. Xiyyeeffannoo keessan ana wajjin taasisaa. Question number 20. What is the distinctive nature of geographic research? A. Its focus is on economic activities of the world. B. Its focus is on resulting patterns and interaction. C. It emphasizes on quantitative analysis method. D. It emphasizes on weather forecasting of an area. Waa'ee riisarchii wabii tiiviidhaan yoo xiqqaate viidiyoo 2 hojjetamee jira. Kanaaf irra deebiidhaan akka sakattaatanii qayyabattan asumarraan isin hubachiisuun barbaada. Question number 21. What differentiates the qualitative research approach from quantitative research approach? Qualitative research approach is A. Uses extensive descriptive data for analysis. B. Employs designs and graphs for data presentation. C. Utilizes measures that produce discrete data. D. Applies statistical methods of data analysis. Geographic research focuses on resulting patterns and interaction. This means it considers with spatial patterns and interactions across space and also how things are arranged, distributed, and interact with each other over space and time. This spatial focus is what makes geography unique among other sciences. A says that it focuses on economic activities of the world. This is specifically dictates about economic geography, not as a whole, the nature of geography. Geographic research uses both qualitative and quantitative analysis methods, not only qualitative. D is also not the answer because it says it emphasizes on weather forecasting of an area. This is a meteorology, which is a branch of geography. As a result, the correct answer is B. For question number 21, qualitative research approach uses extensive descriptive data for analysis. B says that employs designs and graphs for data presentation. Graphs are numerical, quantitative, not qualitative. C also says that measures that produce discrete data. Discrete data are inferentials, which are directly attached to quantitative research. D applies statistical method of data analysis. It says statistics is a numerical value, not qualitative. Qualitative researches are used by narration, statements, photograph, and the other. So A is the correct answer. Question number 22. What makes a research methodology different from a research method? A. It focuses on research techniques. B. Its consideration of statistical tools. C. Its narrower scope. D. Its wider dimension. Question number 23. Which element of research presents what is already known about a research topic by other studies? A. Objective of the research. B. Sampling procedure. C. Literature review. D. Research questions. Question number 24. What issues were underlined by the 1994 Cairo International Conference on Population and Development? A. The impact of consumption on the environment in developed nations. B. Understanding population from inequitable and inhuman viewpoints. C. The effect of rapid population growth of developed countries on the environment. D. Recognition of family planning as a sole means of reducing population. Research methodology refers to the overall strategy or rationale behind the research. It includes the approach and the justification for using certain methods. Research methods are the specific tools or procedures like interviews, surveys used to collect and analyze data. So, methodology is broader in scope. As a result, D is the correct answer. Literature review is the element of research that presents what is already known about a research topic by other studies. So, C is the correct answer. The 1994 Cairo Conference emphasized on right-based approach to population and also development, focusing on human rights, dignity, and gender equality, as well as education and healthy, especially reproductive healthy, moving away from coercive population control measures. So, B is the correct answer. Question number 25. What was the strategy used by Kenya to control population growth? A. Child tax. B. Empowering men. C. One child policy. D. Family planning. Question number 26. Which economic factor of development measures the progress of production? A. Capital expenditure. B. Technology. C. Natural resource. D. Social value. Question number 27. Which one of the following is an environmental implication of population growth? A. Rapid depletion of natural resources. B. Deterioration of social values. C. Increase in the number of unemployed people. D. Empowerment in the provision of transport services. Kenya adopted family planning to control population growth. Child tax is a financial benefit given to families with children, and it actually encourages population growth, not control. Empowerment efforts in reproductive health mostly focus on empowering women, not specifically men, since women are who bear a children. So B is also not the answer. One child policy is implemented in China, not in Kenya. C is also not. So D is the correct answer for question number 25. Technology enhances productivity and efficiency, leading to increased production, economic growth, and development. But capital expenditure refers to money spent on physical assets but does not directly measure progress of production. Natural resource availability alone does not measure a production. Many countries with rich resources still have poor economies, while social value is more of a social or cultural factor, not an economic indicator. For this reason, B is as population grows, demand for water, for land, forests, and minerals increases. This is leading to overexploitation and rapid depletion of natural resources. So, rapid depletion of natural resource is an environmental implication of population growth. A is the correct answer. Deterioration of social value is a social implication, not environmental. Increase in number of unemployed people is an economic issue. Again, it is not environmental. Whereas improvement in the provision of transport service is a positive development, not a negative environmental implication. So, B, C, D are not the answer for question number 27. Question number 28. Which one of the following is an indicator of a socially developed nation? A. Lower proportion of population with access to sanitation service. B. Higher prevalence of discrimination. C. Higher percentage of underweight children. D. Lower percentage of population living below poverty line. Question number 29. How does a clinical healthy intervention model help achieving environmental healthy outcomes? A. By controlling disease causing agents. B. By treating already existing diseases. C. By protecting human beings from environmental adversaries. D. By reducing the occurrence of environmental hazards. Socially developed nations have better wealth distribution and social support system, which lead to lower poverty levels. But lower proportion with access to sanitation, choice A, is actually indicating underdevelopment, not development. Higher prevalence of discrimination again reflects social inequality, which is a negative indicator. C. Higher percentage of underweight children. This is malnutrition. Malnutrition is a sign of poor development, not a social progress. So, D is the correct answer. Lower percentage of population living below poverty line is an indicator of socially developed nations. A clinical health intervention aims to prevent diseases by addressing the root causes, such as bacteria, viruses, or unsafe water, all of which are influenced by the environment. But B, C, and D are not the answer. Treating the already existing diseases is a curative, not preventive, and does not improve environmental health conditions. Protecting from environmental adversaries. This is vague and more related to disaster response than clinical health. Reducing the occurrence of environmental hazards is more of an environmental policy approach, not it is a clinical health model. So, controlling diseases causing agents is a clinical health intervention model that help to achieve environmental healthy outcomes. A is the correct answer. Question number 30. Which one of the following is correct with regard to the principle of environmental health? A. Proximity to green areas is associated with higher health risks. B. The health impact of environment is similar among countries. C. Air pollution is the largest environmental health risk in the world. D. Environmental health risk is declining today compared to the past. Question number 31. How is lagoon formed by the action of sea waves? A. A strip of land along the sea coast is covered with sediments. B. An area of saltwater is separated from the sea by loose sandbanks. C. A narrow ridge of sand is projected into sea and attached to land. D. A sand hill is formed with a crescent moon shape. Question number 32. Which one of the following is the feature of mesosphere? Gaaffiin kun wabii tiiviidhaan hojjetamee viidiyoon isaa gadhiifamee jira. Kanaaf waa'ee baqqaanota qilleensaa layer of atmospheres kan jedhu gaafachuu barbaade jechuudha. A. It contains higher concentration of ozone gases. B. It has the lowest air density among layers of the atmosphere. C. It experiences frequent meteorites burn and disintegration. D. It has constant temperature than the other layers. For question number 30, A says that proximity to green areas is associated with higher health risks. It says no. Proximity to green areas is associated with lower health risks. If so, why we are planting billions of trees each year in Ethiopia? Why green legacy is important? So A is not the answer. B. The healthy impact of environment is similar among countries. Is it? Environmental health impacts vary widely due to differences in pollution, health care, climate, and infrastructure. For example, air pollution might be a major issue in one country, while poor sanitation might dominant in another one. So B is also not the answer. Air pollution is significant. Other factors like unsafe water, poor sanitation, and chemical exposure also contribute substantially. Labeling it the largest alone is an overstatement. Some risks are increasing due to urbanization, industrialization, and climate change. Even if we have made progress in others like sanitation. So, there is no correct answer for question number 30. It is flawed. Deebiin qabu gaa akkamitti akka isaan arramanii waaqayyotu beeka. Question number 31. An area of salt water is separated from the sea by loose sandbanks. This is known as a lagoon. Lagoon is typically formed when sandbanks or barriers islands isolate a body of seawater from the open sea. So it is an area of salt water which is separated from the sea by loose sandbank is the correct definition of lagoon. A strip of land along the sea coast is covered with sediment, it says A. This describes beach formation, not lagoon. Again, C dictates that a narrow ridge of sand is projected into sea and attached to land, it says. This refers to a spit, not a lagoon. D. Sand hill is formed with a crescent moon shape, it says. This is more like a dune or crescentic sandbar, not a lagoon. Mesosphere experiences frequent meteorite burn and disintegration. C is the correct answer for question number 32. A, B, and D are not the answer. Why? Because A said it contains higher concentration of ozone gases, it says. This is a characteristic of stratosphere, not mesosphere. Exosphere has the lowest air density. So B is also not the characteristics of mesosphere. D says that it has constant temperature than the other layers, it says. Mesosphere has rapidly decreasing temperature with altitude. It is actually the coldest atmospheric layer. Mesosphere is where most meteorites burn up and entering the Earth's atmosphere due to friction. So, the correct answer is C. Question number 33. What is the major cause of frontal rainfall in high latitude areas? Again, kunis hojjetamee wabii tiubiidhaan isiniif gadhiifamee jira. Ilaaluu fi mirkaneeffachuu dandeessu jechuudha. A. Existence of high temperature throughout the year. B. Concentration of dense forest coverage in the area. C. Presence of large number of elevated land masses. D. Convergence of warm and cold air masses. Question number 34. What is the characteristics of the cumulonimbus cloud type? Again, kunis hojjetamee jira. Types of clouds kan jedhu WBTU'dhaan gadhiifamee jira. A. It is associated with lightning and heavy rain. B. It is free from strong wind and tornadoes. C. It is thin and appears in sheets in sky. D. It is the major type of low clouds. A point where the warm and cold air masses converge at high latitude areas is known as front, whereas frontal rainfall is formed in high latitude areas when the warm and cold air masses are converging each other. D is the correct answer for question number 33. Existence of high temperature throughout the year, it says A. This is incorrect. It is the characteristics of conventional rainfall in tropical zones, not in high latitude. B. Concentration of dense forest converge in areas, it says. This is also wrong. It might enhance local convection but not causes frontal rainfall. C. The presence of large number of elevated land masses, it says. This is also incorrect. It describes orographic rainfall, not frontal. For question number 34, cumulonimbus cloud type is well known with lightning and heavy rainfall. Here, cumulonimbus clouds are tall, dense, and vertical, that producing thunderstorms, lightnings, hail, and heavy rainfall, that making accurate answer. So, A is the correct answer for question number 34. Number 35. A hypothetical town is located along the beach where its temperature is modified by the local wind. Which type of wind does this town commonly experience during the daytime? A. Mountain breeze. B. Land breeze. C. Sea breeze. D. Valley breeze. Again, gaaffin kunis sirriitti ibsamee hojjetamee jira. Waa'een Mountain breeze, Land breeze, Valley breeze fi Sea breeze warra jedhaman wabii tiyubii yookiin GO lesson 17 tiyubii dura ilaaluu dandeessu jechuudha. Question number 36. Why do many parts of Ethiopia experience a cooler temperature despite the country's location in the tropics? A. Higher elevated landmass of the country. B. Larger forest coverage of the country. C. The larger land areas of the country. D. The effect of cool ocean currents. Again, gaaffii kanaan kan wal fakkaatu wabii tiyubiidhaan yookiin GO lesson 17 tiyubiidhaan hojjetamee jira. Kanas ilaaluun ni danda'ama. During the daytime, the land heats up faster than the sea, and the warm air over the land rises, and the cooler air from the sea moves into replace. Then it creates sea breeze. As a result, C is the correct answer for question number 35. Question number 36. Why do many parts of Ethiopia experience a cooler temperature despite the country's location in the tropics is due to higher elevated landmass of the country. Here, A is the correct answer. Itoophiyaan tirooppikii keessatti akka argama isheetti osoo ta'ee waggaa guutuu haala wal fakkaataadhaan iddoon kamiyyuu qilleensa ho'aa keessummeessa ture. Garuu sababa lafa baddaa hedduminaan qabaattuudhaa fi qilleensa qabbanaa'aa keessummeessiti jechuudha yookiin hangi ho'iinsaa ishee qabbanaa'aa ta'a. Question number 37. Why are coastal regions cooler than inland regions? This question comes from grade 10 new curriculum. Curriculum haaraa kutaa 10 keessaa kan dhufedha gaaffiin kun. A. The land has more consistent temperature than the sea. B. The sea loses heat more quickly than the land. C. The sea heats more quickly than the land. D. Rapid temperature changes occurs on the land than the sea. Question number 38. How does sheet erosion occurs? It occurs when surface water A. Cuts small channels. B. Joins each other and cuts ditches. C. Flows with high speed. D. Moves in a wide flow. Question number 39. What is the major cause of mass wasting in an area? A. Due to dry climate condition. B. Due to the rotation of the earth. C. Due to the gravity of the earth. D. Due to the angle of the sun. Water has a high specific heat capacity, meaning it takes longer to heat and cool, so at night or after sunset. The sea cools faster and helps to moderate the coastal climate, keeping it cool. So, the sea loses heat more quickly than the land is the correct answer for question number 37. Why A, C, D are not the answer? Because the land has more consistent temperature than the sea, it says. This is incorrect. Land temperatures fluctuate more than sea temperatures. C. The sea heats more quickly than the land. This is opposite. The land heats more quickly than the sea. D. Rapid temperature changes occurs on the land than the sea, it says. This is true, but it does not explain why coastal areas are cooler. It explains inland fluctuation rather than coastal coolings. Sheet erosion occurs due to its wide flow of movements. So, D is the correct answer. Sheet erosion happens when water flows evenly over a large area of land, removing a thin, uniform layer of a soil. A, B, C are not the answer. A says that cuts small channels. This describes real erosion, not sheet erosion. B says that joins each other and cuts ditches. This explains gully erosion, not sheet erosion. C says that flows with higher speed, not necessarily true for sheet erosion. Even sheet erosion flows slowly and wide spread flow. Mass wasting is the downslope movement of soil, rock, and debris which is caused by gravity. Dry climate condition can reduce vegetation and contribute to erosion, but it is not the direct cause for mass wasting. Rotation of the earth has no direct effect on mass movement or slope failure of the land surface. Angle of the sun affects temperature and possibly evaporation, but not mass movements. So, C is the correct answer for question number 39. Question number 40. What is the effect of folding on the Earth's surface? A. It is responsible for the formation of the Cape Ranges. B. It is a cause for the origin of the Afaan Forest Mountain. C. It results in the creation of the Rift Valley. D. It is the cause for the existence of Ethiopian highlands. Question number 41. Which one of the following countries lies in the Pacific Ring of Fire? A. Botswana. B. Sweden. C. Japan. D. Australia. Question number 42. What does climate change refers to? A. It is a seasonal fluctuation in the element of climate. B. It is the difference in climatic conditions of two areas. C. It is a short-term change in character of elements of climate. D. It is a long-time persistent variability in the properties of climates. Folding occurs when tectonic plates compress and push sedimentary rock layers upward, creating fold mountains like the Cape Ranges in South Africa. Forest mountains are formed by faulting, not folding. The Afaan region is shaped by tectonic divergences and fault block mountains. Rift valleys are formed by tensional forces that cause the crust to break and sink between faults, not by folding. The Ethiopian highlands are volcanic plateaus, mainly uplifted by volcanic activities and not caused directly by folding. So, A is the correct answer for question number 40. Japan is found in Pacific Ring Fire. C is the correct answer, but others are not. Climate change refers to a long time persistent variability in the property of climate. D is the correct answer. Number 43. Which one of the following shows the global trends of climate change? A. Human activities have a strong association with rising temperature. B. The Earth is experiencing lower temperature today. C. Climate change uniformly occurs on the surface of the Earth. D. The impacts of climate change are lesser today than before. Question number 44. Which one of the following is the major anthropogenic cause for climate change? A. Continued emission of greenhouse gases from industries. B. Continuous efforts on afforestation and reforestation. C. Variations on the strength of sun's rays through time. D. The rising level of photosynthesis process around the equator. Question number 45. What makes ocean water flow from the equator towards the pole? A. High temperature. B. Low precipitation. C. High pressure. D. Low wind speed. Global warming trends are strongly linked to human activities like burning of fossil fuels, which increases greenhouse gases. B is the correct answer for question number 43. Human causes or anthropogenic causes like industry, transportation, and agricultural releases carbon dioxide, methane, and the others which trap heat in the atmosphere. So, continued emission of greenhouse gases from industries is the major anthropogenic causes for climate change. A is the correct answer. Warm equatorial waters expand and rise, creating pressure differences that drive ocean currents towards the poles. These are part of the global thermohaline circulation. Precipitation affects salinity, but not the primary driver of current flow towards pole. Ocean currents are driven from high temperature and low pressure areas towards cooler regions, not high pressure itself. While strong winds, especially trade winds, help to drive surface currents, not low wind speeds. So, A is the correct answer for question number 45. Number 46. In which direction do pressure belts move from their average position during the northern hemisphere's summer season? A. Eastwards, B. Westwards, C. Northwards, D. Southwards. Question number 47. Why do we use the method of regional study? A. To investigate different geographical environments. B. To examine the natural resources of the entire Earth. C. To study all aspects of the Earth at a time. D. To describe each element of the Earth in detail. Question number 48. Which one of the following is among the characteristics of the equatorial rainforest region? Gaaffiin kun hojjetame akkasumatti wabii tiyuubii irra jira. Okay. A. Its rainfall amount shows significant variation across months. B. It is mainly inhabited by people who use modern technologies. C. It forms a continuous belt around the world. D. It has low annual range of temperature. During the northern hemisphere's summer, the sun is overhead farther north, so the thermal equator and the pressure belt like the ITCZ shifts northwards. But A, B, D are not, because A says eastwards. Pressure belt shifts latitudinally, not longitudinally. East-west movement applies more to wind direction, not pressure belt. Southward, this happens during the southern hemisphere's summer, not the northern hemisphere's summer. So, C is the correct answer. To investigate different geographical environments is the essence of regional geography, which analyze how natural and human phenomena vary from region to region. A is the correct answer for question number 47. Equatorial rainforest region has low annual range of temperature. Equatorial areas have consistently warm temperature year-round with very small variation, low annual temperature range. D is the correct answer for question number 48. Question number 49. Of the following, which one is the characteristics of tropical hot desert? A. Their right time temperature is high. B. They are known for plants with long roots. C. They are located along warm ocean currents. D. Their winds are mainly cool and wet. Question number 50. Which land feature of Ethiopia separates the southeast highlands from the northern and the southwestern highlands? A. Eastern lowland. B. Western lowland. C. Rift Valley. D. Central highland. The main characteristics of tropical hot desert is that they are well known for plants of long roots. Desert plants like acacia have long roots to tap deep underground water. A, C, D are not the answer. A says that their nighttime temperature is high. No, it is inverse. In tropical hot deserts, daytime temperatures are high, but night temperature are dropped significantly due to rapid heat loss in dry air. C. They are located along warm ocean currents. It says incorrect. Deserts are usually along cold ocean currents, which reduce moisture and rainfall. Example, Atacama Desert along Peru currents. D. Their winds are mainly cool and wet. Says no, this is totally false. Deserts have hot, dry winds, not cool and wet. The Greatest Rift Valley splits Ethiopia into northern or southwestern and southeastern highlands, forming a major geological depression. B is the correct answer for question number 49. Rift Valley is the physiographic diagram that separates Ethiopian highlands into two. C is the correct answer. Chaanalii keessan Geolesson 17 Tube waan daawwattaniif galatooma. Geolesson 17 Tube chaanalaachun sila gobanyaachuu amasagganaalla. Geolesson 17 Tube chaanalii milkoomina egeree dhalootaaf dhimmu.